It's that time of the cycle where you go to sleep and wake up with your portfolio being higher. I totally agree with Quentin. Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the XRP family. Guys, you guys are insane. And what I mean by that is an amazing amount of support that you guys are showing on these updates. Again, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of these updates that I bring you guys. But let's take a look at what's happening with the XRP. XRP's price right now up 2.6% over the course of the last 24 hours. We're seeing a great day. XRP on its way to close its daily candle above $3. We cannot be complaining at this point right now. Obviously, if you're looking at it on the weekly time frame, we're up about 10%. And I wouldn't really say a weekly time frame. More importantly, over the last 2 days is where majority of this momentum is really coming in. But let's take a look at the XRP's price, see what is happening. What are some next targets to be looking out for? Let's go over some news. You guys enjoy these updates. And of course, like I said, make sure you're subscribed so you're notified every time we make an upload. So price of XRP at $3.02, up 1.3% in Bitcoin comparative, but look at the valuation, back above 180 billion, to be exact, $181 billion right now, and the 24-hour trading volume is literally through the roof right now, sitting at $7.5 billion. As always, though, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So CoinGlass data shows that none of the 30 indicators signal a market peak, suggesting the cycle still has room to run before the final phase of the bull market. Pretty much meaning none of these indicators are signaling any peak signal, which is quite interesting to see. In my personal opinion, though, as I've stated to you guys before, I think we're coming, actually closer to the end rather than the beginning of the bull market. So obviously, if your timeline is short term, especially for your portfolio, make sure your exit strategies are in place. And stick with them, because during times like this where there's a lot of excitement coming into the crypto space, everyone is bull posting, meaning everyone is bullish. You do tend to see greediness get to the best of us, but make sure you are keeping up with your overall exit strategy. But again, this is quite interesting to see. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. But $130 billion was added to crypto market just today. And why this is so crazy for me to wrap my head around is, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this, shout out to the early XRP holders, back in the day, and we're talking about 2016, 2017 days, even 2018 when the bear market started, this would make majority of the valuation. I think it would make more than half of the valuation in those times, and this really shows you how far this industry has come, that one day alone can bring in $130 billion into the crypto space. That tells you how much money was on the sideline for that was actually eyeing this opportunity. And as now we're seeing altcoins, XRP, Solana, BNB, Bitcoin, all these coins start to trend, you are going to see retail start to pay attention as well, which of course brings in that FOMO factor, and we're already starting to see a trickling effect of that happening. But again, S&P market is melting. Once again, a new all-time high just sending right now, and I think Bitcoin is next up. FedWatch shows a 99% probability of rates being cut to 375, to 400 BPS at the October 29, 2025 meeting. So at the end of the month, I project, we're not actually priced in yet to that rate cut, but I think, we're starting to see the market actually kind of pushing itself into the anticipation of this FOMC meeting. And I actually do believe we might see market kind of consolidating or actually pulling down a little bit, leading to this FOMC meeting itself, something we saw obviously last month, and I think we will see something similar happening. But we're just starting off the month, and I think we actually have more room to grow before we do see some consolidation. But that's my own personal opinion. Obviously, time is going to tell. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree with that. Shout out to Zoom. All structures were maintained, bounced off important support, and now XRP is tackling a very important zone. Break the $3.15 to $3.20 zone and move to 360 zone could be swift, and I totally agree with that. This is closer to its all-time highs, and then after that we start retesting our unofficial all-time highs, which everyone has their eyes glued on, and everyone wants the price of XRP to get to these levels, which I think is imminent as well. But shout out to Smoke. Obviously CME Group to launch 24/7 crypto futures and option trading in 2026. Look What Smoke says crypto price can move at the flip of a switch thanks to 24/7 trading. This is due to their 24/7 trading nature, which disrupts traditional market patterns tied to exchange opening and closing times. This is why I love crypto, and this is what made me fall in love with crypto from day one. Unlike traditional assets, news and regulatory changes in cryptocurrency markets can be immediately adopted regardless of the time due to the constant trading activity. In simple terms, crypto trades 24/7. Once CME opens the door in 2026, institutional cash can hit the market at the flip of a switch. Moves that used to wait for Wall Street hours will happen instantly. And I totally agree with that. And what if I told you it's already happening? Because this $130 billion, believe it or not, it's not all retail that is coming in. It's bigger money that is flowing in as well. Obviously, something we want to keep in mind. But look what Ripple says. We're proud to partner with UC Berkeley on the launch of its Center of Digital Assets. From classroom to real-world impact, this builds on years of innovation through our university blockchain research initiative. Find out more about the partnership and learn how CDA will advance blockchain and digital twin research. And again, if you want to read this, go on Ripple's official X account and you can read this. 1.3 gift for Ripple launches new Berkeley Center for Digital Assets. Huge stuff happening. Really, bringing in more understanding and knowledge for the blockchain industry. And look what Eleanor says. Obviously, Litecoin ETF was what a lot of people were waiting for. As I understand it, the shutdown could affect the LTC ETF approval, exactly what we were anticipating and speculating on, because the SEC government still needs to sign off on the S-1 and the agency is operating on the skeleton crew. It's unclear what remaining staff is working, what their priorities are at the moment, since the generic listing standards went into effect and the agency asked issuers and partners exchanges to withdraw their 19B4s. I'm told that the deadline technically no longer matters. I reached out to the SEC for a comment, and what was told by a spokesperson is that because of the shutdown, they are not able to respond to many press inquiries. So again, going back to what I said, I think that is delaying everything. So that's that. If you're looking at the Bitcoin dominance right now, 58.75% pulling down, which is lovely to see. Bitcoin, on the other hand, wow, just wow, sitting at $120,000, but we wicked up to $121,000 today. Nice small consolidation, mega bullish, and we're literally on the verge of breaking an all-time high at this point for Bitcoin. And again, a lot of haters are speechless at this point, and that is that. If you're looking at XRP, though, let's pull out the XRP's chart for us, and let's really understand what's happening. So XRP had a beautiful bounce today. We went up to $3.10. Yes, you've heard that correct. Retesting some of the levels since mid-September, something we've been talking about. We were anticipating the $3, resistance to be turning into support, and that's exactly what ended up happening. We went up to 310, seeing a nice consolidation right now with the broader market, obviously, but so far so good. Nice trajectory in this upwards trend forming, and the target remains to be around the $3.15, and then off we go to some of the levels we were at back in August. So I love what I'm seeing here with XRP. We're on the verge of closing the daily candle above $3. Love what I'm seeing here. We got to take it one step at a time, and we'll see you later. If you're not subscribed already, waiting for, follow me on X, and we'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.